For today's lesson, we're going to read Chapter 4 of Life Cycles. The title is Traits Vary Within Populations and Species. The big question for this chapter, how do traits vary within groups of the same type of organism? And the first vocab word that we'll see on this page is population. It's a group of a single type of organism living in the same place at the same time. Pete is a young emperor penguin. He is very similar to his sister Polly. Pete and Polly inherited traits from their parents. The parents, Pete and Polly, are very much alike, but each of them is different in small ways. Traits vary among family members. The penguin family lives on the Ross Ice Shelf in Antarctica. Many other emperor penguins families live there too. All the penguin families that live there make a population of emperor penguins. All members of this population of emperor penguins look pretty much alike, yet, as with family, members of this population vary in their traits. Traits vary within any population of living things. Here it says, many families make up a population of emperor penguins. The penguins in Pete's population live with other populations in the same area. They live with populations of plankton, fish, squid, seals, algae, and orca. All the populations in this place interact with each other. To interact means to affect each other. Words to know. An ecosystem is all the living and non-living things that interact in the same place. All the living and non-living things in the area make up an ecosystem. The penguin population is just one small part of the Ross Ice Shelf ecosystem. Penguin populations and seal populations share the same ecosystem in Antarctica. Traits vary within populations. Katydids live in a meadow ecosystem. The katydid is a leaf-eating insect. Like all living things, any one katydid resembles its parents and siblings. It also resembles other katydids in a population it belongs to. A katydid might have a green body that looks like a leaf, but each katydid is different from all other katydids in its population. The trait of color can vary sharply within the katydid population. Some are pink. A pink katydid is not able to hide on the leaf as well as the green katydid can. It's a tongue twister, katydid. Most times I've said that in a couple minutes. The green katydid is less likely to be eaten, and the pink one is more likely to be eaten in a meadow with lots of green leaves. This means the green katydid may live long enough to reproduce. The offspring of the green katydid are more likely to be green too, so they will be good hiders as well. But perhaps the pink katydid is more hidden when resting on a pink flower. You can see that some traits can give an individual in a population a greater chance to survive than other individuals with different traits. The ones who survive pass their traits on to their offspring. Pink katydids are more likely to be eaten when resting on a green leaf, so they are less likely to produce than green katydids. Traits vary within populations and across species. Here is another example of variation of traits in a population. The flamingo is a pink bird that lives in shallow water ecosystems. Flamingos have long, skinny legs and webbed feet. These traits help flamingos wade through water in search of their favorite food.
Call 3802, Dave, 3802.
Their favorite food, shrimp. With webbed feet, they can walk on top of the soft mud without sinking and getting stuck. Most adult flamingos in a population have about the same size feet, but some have smaller feet and others have larger feet. Foot size, like the colors of katydids, is a trait that varies in a population. A variation of a trait can help an individual in a population. For example, flamingos with larger webbed feet can stir up more mud. They may have a better chance of finding more shrimp. and that means they have a better chance to survive and reproduce. But perhaps flamingos with small feet can fly away faster when they have to. This is another example of how some traits give some individuals an advantage in life. The other question we have here is, would feet the same shape as flamingos be an advantage to a hawk that needs to capture food with his feet? I'm going to say the claws are super important to eat its food. So I'm going to say no, it would not be an advantage. More trait variations in populations and across species. The saguaro is the largest cactus in the United States. It grows in hot, dry desert climates. Look at the picture of several saguaros. How do they vary? Saguaros have a way to survive seasons with little rain. They collect water through their roots in the soil when it rains. Then they store the water inside their green trunks. Saguaros' roots are shallow in the ground, only 4 to 6 inches deep. This lets them easily get water from the topsoil when it rains. The roots also reach far around the saguaros. The roots stretch out as far as the saguaro is tall. Height is a trait that varies in saguaros. Saguaros grow very slowly. Over many years, they can grow up to 60 feet tall. Some saguaros can grow taller than others, even if they are the same age. Tall saguaros will have longer roots than shorter saguaros. Saguaros with longer roots can collect more water when it rains than saguaros with shorter roots. Saguaros that collect more water have a better chance of surviving in the desert. So we got two words that come up a lot. We got katydids and saguaros. Two words I had to check to make sure I was saying correctly. Traits vary within species. All the penguins in the world's many emperor penguin populations are part of the same species. A species is a group of living things that can reproduce together to make offspring that can also reproduce together. Human beings are all members of the same species. You know that traits vary within families and within populations. Traits also vary among individuals of the same species. For example, the picture shows 3 frogs of the same species. Frogs of the same species all look similar and can reproduce together. Wherever members of the species live, individuals with some traits have a better chance to survive and reproduce than other members of the species. So it says 3 frogs of the same species have varied traits. That is all for chapter 3. Or chapter 4. Thank you.